Okay, thanks, Michelle. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Um, so we are going to be taking the next little bit and we're going to talk about all things related to recruitment and how to have a strong fall recruitment so that we can bring in as many new families as possible and you can get them off on the right foot in scouting. So the first thing you want to do is, can you advance one more slide, Michelle? There we go. The first thing we want to do is plan. Like that last slide said, the Scout motto is to be prepared. We want to be prepared for your recruitment. We want to make sure we have plans in place. So what that means is the first thing you want to do with your pack troop, with your committees, plan for at least 3 months past the time of your join event, or probably to the end of the calendar year. When you're doing that, we can put that calendar on the back of the handouts and the flyers that you're going to be distributing to those potential new members, those potential new families. That allows them to see that there's structure, there's been thought put into it, they know what they're getting into. And it also helps the kids get excited if they look and see something like Cub Haunted in October, a holidays at camp in December. You know, that shows them like, oh, that's going to be really fun. And my friends did that and I want to do that too. So planning, having a specific calendar, something that we can use as an advertisement tool, is a great start. Within your units, address the open volunteer positions that you have. See if there's anybody who's ready to become your popcorn colonel or your new member chair. Make sure that you are including the units of the same chartered org. So if you have a Scouts BSA troop at the same location as your Cub Pack, talk to them, see if the kids from the Scouts BSA unit are willing to come down and help out with your join event at the Cub Scout level. Some of the best join events I've seen is where there's a family pack of Cub Scouts recruiting, and there is a boy troop at the same place. The boys came out and they took all the kids, the potential new members, and they showed them how to make a fire, and then they led those kids in the process of making s'mores. And while the boys were doing that with those kids, the adult leaders were able to sort of scoop the parents off to the side and talk to them about the program, the calendar, the specifics, and sort of make the adult to adult sale on why they wanted their kids in that program. Again, so with planning, who should attend? Who shouldn't be there? Is your join night going to be your first pack meeting of the year? Maybe not a good idea unless your pack is like very on topic and basically well behaved, because otherwise it could become kind of chaotic. You want to have a good first showing. Make sure that you know who's going to have the best things to say. Who are your bubbly leaders? Who's the one that's going to put on a big smile and be the great first impression that you're looking for? So things to consider when talking about, you know, making a plan. So let's go ahead to the next slide. We're talking about goal setting. So set a goal, and sometimes that goal will relate to your den. So if you are a Cub Pack that has 20 Arrow of Lights and 20 Weeblos and all 20 bears, but you have 0 tigers, maybe this year you really want to put that focus into tigers so that you can grow them as well. How many do you want to get across the board? How many kids do you want to get for each specific den? Set those goals and be specific about it. Be realistic with it so that you can achieve the goals you're talking about setting. And keep in mind what you feel like you can handle as well. As much as it would be amazing for you to go out and get 50 kids for every den in your pack, ask yourself, do you have the leadership and the capacity to control that? You know, so not to say that you would ever turn kids away from the program, but make sure that you are ready for what you want to recruit for. So talk with your leaders, figure out what your goal is, because that will help also kind of guide when and where you're doing some of your heaviest recruitment. Moving ahead, we are going to talk about updating your unit pin. Now, hopefully everybody here knows what their unit pin is. If you don't know what it is, your unit pin is marketing material that you have on beascout.org. So if I were to go on beascout.org right now, type in a zip code and look for all the packs in my general area, what would I see about your pack? This is a great place where you can put the leadership names, you can put contact information, you can put little tidbits about your calendar, you can put meeting time and location. These are things that you should be constantly updating, if not at least once a year, 2, 3, 4 times a year, making sure that that's always up to date so that potential new families have a way to get a hold of you. It's entirely possible that there's a potential new family looking at your unit right now online, and you might not know about it. So ask yourself, what are they seeing? You know, are they getting the right information? And will they be able to join the pack that way? So we're going to look at a quick video that shows you how you can go about updating your unit PIN. We just got to give YouTube a second to load here. There we go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jose Martinez, and I am part of the Mount Rubidoux District membership team. I am here with a quick tip for all of our units on how to update your beascout.org PIN. Steps: you want to log on to your my.scouting.org website. Step number 1, you want to go ahead and open up in your drop-down menu button and click on the organization manager. That'll take you over to the next screen, which is step number 2. You want to click on unit PIN. It'll take you to step number 3, which is this next screen. And in step number 3, you want to make sure that you have the appear on BeaScout button clicked. You want to make sure you have the allow people to apply online clicked. Also the contact information for your unit, whoever that might be. If you wanted to include your unit website, you can do so also. And really important is this additional unit information. That's a great way to give a quick description about your unit. As you can see on this other side, on the right hand side, is the unit PIN preview. This is what a potential family will view. If you can see, there's a request more information button, there's an apply now button. To have on your unit PIN is here on this field to display on unit PIN. So you can click and you can put which options you want your potential families to view. Have this part. Once you have step number 3 completed, you're going to go ahead and go on to step number 4. You're going to scroll down to confirm or edit the unit meeting address. Click the locate button to confirm that everything is correct. And when you're done, you click the save button, and that's it. You have just updated your unit's PIN. Great thing about this is we also have put this PDF together. The CIC membership team has included this handy PDF. The link is going to be in the post comments right here. So take a few minutes to make sure that all your information on your unit's BeaScout PIN is current and correct today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, great. So now we're going to move forward. We're going to talk about promotion and the best strategies for doing that. So obviously, hopefully everybody has an idea of some of their local media options. This is a great place to tap in, especially, you know, so that you keep it, so that you have, you know, more of a hands on the ground or feet on the ground involvement in your local communities. So your town or city newspapers, if your schools have student-run publications, the windows of your businesses, the PTA and PTO newsletters, all the places that you see, think about if you have access to those places or not, where you can put up flyers or leave behind little business cards or blurbs about the unit. This is something that you can do now, today, or tomorrow. Reach out to your contacts that you have. Those of you who are chartered out of a church, you know, go and talk about leaving a flyer on the community bulletin boards. Places like Panera have all sorts of community bulletin boards. Talk to your schools. A lot of them have digital marquees now, and it's probably not terribly hard to see if you can get one of those 10-second flashing blurbs on a digital marquee in front of a high school or elementary school that just talks about join Cub Scouts. just to kind of get that out there. If you have news contacts with like a local news or with a local publication, but you're not necessarily confident in your ability to reach out, let us know. Talk to your representatives from Lake Erie Council, because we have a team down here that can help you with that. We can help put together press releases. We can help get you the things that you need to send to them. And that's, that's what we're here to do, is to help back up your recruitment efforts. So if you tell us the when and the where, we can help you with it. So that's a great way to look at some of the local options you have. There's also, in this day and age, we would be foolish to disregard social media as an option. Things to think about. First and foremost, BSA does have social media guidelines. So make sure that you are always staying compliant with the social media guidelines with what you're posting. Many of you probably have Facebook groups, that's a group where everybody is, or a group is where everybody is a member in it, and it's usually closed so that you can have conversations about what's going on with your pack or your troop. But there's also pages for things that's where people can just see updates about something. So think about making a page for your troop or your pack where you can just post pictures or blurbs about, pack 123 was out raking leaves today in the neighborhood, or pack 123 was cleaning up the cemetery, or whatever it was you were doing, so that the community really knows that you're out there doing things. It helps increase visibility, and increased visibility can help lead to those new members. Let us know about what you're doing as well. Again, our communications team that runs the Lake Erie Council social media will be happy to help boost those posts. They will also share your pictures, your videos and stuff, and get that out there and going, so that people from all over the council territory can look and say, like, I know those people, I know that town, that's a cool thing that they're still out there doing that. So just share things, make sure your presence is known. Consider, if you have a family or a parent who is very involved in social media, asking them if they would want to be sort of your social media chair for your pack or troop. Somebody who kind of takes on the responsibility of keeping up with the photos and the posts and making sure that the visibility is there. Geofencing is something that's kind of new this year, but essentially what that is that it's targeted ads to a geographic area. So if, we all know now how Facebook and YouTube and all sorts of things kind of have that way of knowing what you've been doing or talking about and stuff, and they just send you those targeted ads. We can kind of get in on that, so that, a mom who was out school supply shopping would maybe get an advertisement on Facebook about, joining Cub Scouts in your area. Now, geofencing does come with a little bit of a cost associated with it. Lake Erie Council will look into assisting you with those costs to be able to help out as at least once, as long as we have a good idea of what the ad is going to be and what we're targeting. But that's something that's out there too that we can look into. We also have custom videos we can offer this year. They're basically stock footage videos, but we can customize the ending to have your troop number, your location, your meeting time, your contact information, things like that. And that's something that we would get done for you down here, distribute, and then you can pass that around to all your families so they can share it on their Facebooks, their Instagrams, whatever else it is they're using. So a couple things to keep in mind there. But as we move forward, we also have peer-to-peer as a recruitment tactic. Now, this is incredibly powerful. Sometimes it's something as simple as, your son or daughter telling their best friend, hey, I'm in Cub Scouts and I really love it, and I think it would be great if you came and did it with me. That's peer-to-peer. Other ways you can sort of enhance that, we have peer-to-peer cards that we can make for you as part of the resources available to you through the council. They would just be little business-sized cards that we can give you can distribute them to your scouts and they can pass them out to all their friends in school. And it would say, hey, come and join me on this day, this night to do this thing. If your unit is going to have the mobile climbing wall or rent one of the inflatable ranges, or if you're doing a Pinewood Derby or a rain gutter regatta, the peer-to-peer cards are so that your kids, your scouts, can invite their friends in school to come and join and do that thing with them. It's a great idea to have a Class B day at school. You know, pick the Monday of the second week of the school year, tell all your kids to wear their matching Class B shirts. Kids in the age range of Cub Scouts love seeing like a matching, when a club or a team has a matching shirt or something. So that's a great way to spark a conversation. Whoa, that's really cool. Where did you get that shirt? It's from my Cub Scout pack. I can tell you how to get one too. Personal invitations. If your kids are in, rec football or soccer or whatever the other fall sports are, talk to the other parents there, have them talk to their teammates, and again, see if they can get those kids to come. Do a bring a buddy to an event thing. If each kid brings one of their closest friends to an event, you double the pack, right? But the biggest one is really parent to parent. At the Cub Scout age, we want to get the parents of those prospective new scouts to see the value and for them to understand why their kids should be in the program. It's really up to the parents who have the final say of you are going to do this or no, I'm not letting you do that. And so you as the leaders, think back to what we just asked you to put in the chat about those personal statements and why you do it, because you can use that to connect with another parent and try to show them the value of putting their kids into your program. So I'm going to take a couple seconds in the next, let's say in the next minute, we're going to talk about some outside the box recruiting methods. What is something you've done in your local area for your pack or troop that you don't think maybe anybody else has thought of that has worked for you? If you have something like that, go ahead and throw it in the chat and we will read them off as they come through here. So I'm going to give it like 60 seconds, see however many of those ideas we can get.
Oh, you want to do some questions?
Yeah, let's do some questions while we're doing that.
Okay, who can update the pen?
The unit key 3 can update the pin.
Okay, and the designate, you can designate somebody outside that, correct?
Yes, key 3 and delegates can update pin. If you have a delegate for your COR or anybody else, they would have access to it as well.
Okay. Another question is, how do you advertise your pack being active on social media if you have families that don't want their children's pictures on it?
So for something like that, I would say you can, if you're doing a Pinewood Derby, just show the cars. If you went out and did a leaf raking project, take before and after pictures. If you're going to be participating in a parade, take pictures of your flags. Not all pictures that promote scouting have to show the youth in it. And if you're in a pack where none of the parents want their kids in pictures, those things might be an option. If it's just some of the kids don't want to be in it, get pictures of one or two of the kids whose parents are okay with it, and just make sure you're always being cautious about, the pictures that you're using. It's always best to ask for permission 2 or 3 times just to be sure than to ever make that mistake one time.
Okay. And where can we find the BSA social media guidelines?
The BSA social media guidelines, if you go to lecbsa.org and under resources and membership resources, that's where you'll be able to find a list of all things related to recruitment and, like it says, your unit resources. There's a link under there that would show you the social media guidelines. Okay, so let's check now and see what some people have said here. A community expo, good. A rocket launch recruiting event, awesome. A campfire program at a local park, love that. A flag raising for Relay for Life, that's awesome. Or if you have kids in the troop, we were talking about this earlier today, having the troop sponsor the colors or the flag raising at Friday night high school football games. Yeah, those are great. We had good luck being involved in trunk or treat with the school. Yes, trunk or treats are hugely possible or hugely popular right now. And you can definitely use those as an opportunity to pass out business cards and flyers as well. Facebook has been our biggest attention getter. Facebook is a very powerful tool right now. You can get, oh, thank you, Michelle. So, Michelle, you're beating me to it. So one of the options that we love promoting is the flyers on pizza boxes. If in your town you have a local pizza shop, something that's maybe just specific to you. For me, I work in the far west. I know that Oberlin has a place called Lorenzo's, the best pizza ever. If you call up your local pizza shop and just say, hey, would it be okay if we dropped off 200 flyers and have you just tape them to the cover of every pizza box that goes home on a Thursday night or a Friday night or something? They've actually, most pizza places are pretty cool about it, and they've been pretty receptive to something like that. So now, boom, everybody who orders pizza on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is getting a flyer that has your pack's information on it. Super easy. Another one that I like talking about. It is, now that we're into August, you're going to see these popping up everywhere, but Spirit Halloween is coming into town. We know all the kids want to go out and get their Halloween costumes. And as a former Spirit Halloween store manager, I can personally tell you, if you go in, talk to the manager and ask them if you can leave some stuff by the cash register, they're probably going to say yes. So that's a great way. You could just get a stack of flyers out in front of everybody who needs to buy a Halloween costume this year. So yeah, those are some great ideas and ways that we can get, your name, your image, and get people talking about you out in the community. So as we move on, online resources and tools. Am I going to be able to? Yeah, I think so. Let's see if this works. If this doesn't work, then I would just encourage everybody to go and check it out later. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it up. If you follow the link there that you see on your screen, lecbsa.org/membership resources, that's going to take you to the landing page on Lake Erie Council's website, where you can request and see all the materials that you have available to you to support your recruitment. This is where you're going to get to see samples of the flyers that we can make for you, that we can customize to you, the peer-to-peer cards, the promotional giveaway items that we have, which you might have seen in the beginning video that we showed. We have sunglasses, slap bracelets, carabiners, pens. We have crayons and coloring book pages. Oh, here we go. Hopefully everybody can see this. So this is kind of going to show you where, if we scroll down a little more, so here's where you get to see the example flyers we have for Cubs and for Scouts BFA. This big black bar here that you see, fill out this form to request resources. That's going to give you the option to request how many flyers you want, what you want on the flyers, who your contact person is going to be, how many of the different swag items you would like to support your recruitment. All that stuff is made available right there. And just below that, you can see social media best practices. This is where you'll be able to go and see the social media guidelines for the BSA. In the event that we are ever, well, actually, so using the fill out this form to request resources, when you go there and click on it, it'll walk you through all the steps. We do ask, again, that those requests are put in at least 2 weeks in advance of when you need them. As we get into the fall, Lake Erie Council is servicing almost 300 units, maybe a little more than 300 units. And there are 7 people down here that are going to be working on getting these thousands and thousands of flyers out to you. So we do ask for a 2-week lead time on fulfilling your membership requests. If in the process of fulfilling those, we find out that we're ever out of something, if we run out of sunglasses or pens, we would give you a call, let you know, and ask you, I can't get you pens, but how about an extra 50 of the red silicone bracelets, just so that you know what you have coming to you. We also ask that you try to keep the requests reasonable. For example, I'm going to pick on them. I don't know if they're in this call tonight, but I'm originally from Bay Village. And so if one of our units from Bay Village ever called or filled out a request and said, we need 15,000 flyers, I would say, you absolutely do not. I know you do not. I went to that school. I know how many kids are out there. So try to keep your requests reasonable, have an idea, know what you're going to use them for, because we do have to share these resources across the entire council. That being said, we don't want to have any left over when this is all done. So we want to make sure we're getting them out there and using them to the best of our ability so that we can entice those new families to come and join. So let's talk about the brand center. I'm not going to click on, oh geez, we're all over the place. I got to back up here a second. I'm sorry. The BSA Brand Center, if you visit the Brand Center, which the links will be sent out after the training, this is a place where there's all sorts of stock images and photos, things that have already been approved by BSA Nationals that you can print up yourselves and use to support your training. So even though we have a handful of flyers that we can provide for you, if you wanted anything else or just something a little bit different, the Brand Center is where you can go to get nationally approved images, flyers, promotional material that you can use to hand out on your own. Things that you want to be familiar with online, beascout.org. This is the landing page for prospective new families to go to where they can look in their area and see what units are around them. That's why I was saying earlier, you could have a family looking at joining your unit right now because they might just be doing it online. The invitation manager and the application manager. This is where you would go to actually approve the new youth that you get when they come in, if they're filling out an application online. Additionally, it's also a good idea before your fall recruitment, have a quick conversation with your chartered org representatives. They're the ones who can approve your new adult leaders. And if those new adult leaders are filling out digital applications, you want to make sure that your chartered org representatives are familiar with the process of approving them and that they should know to be on the lookout for those new ones coming in. Because hopefully, if we're getting new kids, we should be getting a couple new adults to be helping out with the program as well. So make sure you're familiar with those as a unit key 3. Know where you can go and see who's applied and know how to approve the applications. It's very simple. There's a big green button that says accept or approve, and then they're in. Once they have been accepted, they get an email saying welcome to scouting from Lake Erie Council, and then that's kind of how you know that they've officially been added to your roster. Moving forward again. So let's talk about overcoming objections, or closing the sale as it would be. So some of them are ones that we hear all the time. They're pretty simple. It costs too much. Yes, we do know that there is a cost associated with scouting at both the youth and the adult level. That's when you would talk about the positive impacts of things like the product sale, selling popcorn and Scouts Own, how much money the kids have a chance to earn from that. And, you know, for many people across the council, the reality is their kids might not have to pay for scouting ever, because they're just out there getting, you know, selling products, selling selling popcorn, and they've made enough off of that, they don't have to worry about paying the fees. ACE program that Michelle was telling us about earlier. If you qualify or if you're in a community that qualifies, it's entirely reimbursable. So yes, you do have to pay the amount upfront, but you're going to get all the fees and such back. Now, again, it doesn't cover the uniforms and the books, but having your fees covered is a pretty big chunk of money. So that's something that we want to advertise and make sure families are taking advantage of. Community and chartered org funding, you know, have a conversation with your chartered organization. Many times churches, VFWs, American Legions, they're willing to help out because they understand the value of the program. And sometimes they're willing to cover the costs for the kids, or at least a chunk of it. Let's talk about the other one that we all hear. We just don't have the time. Very popular objection. Oh, my kid is in football right now, and then we go straight into basketball season and wrestling, and then when the spring comes around, it's baseball again, and we have a family vacation planned, and there's just never a good time. Think about that though, because if that's the excuse, then there's never going to be a good time. But there's a lot of value that you can get from the program that they're not going to get from just being on team sports. There's nothing wrong with kids who want to play football and baseball and basketball. They are great things. But a lot of people think and say and back up the idea that the value you get from the scouting program is just different, and it's in many ways a little bit more impactful than you get from those other things. Maybe the "I don't have time" speech is just because you meet on a Tuesday night, in which case, there might be another pack across town who meets on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. And it's a great idea to work together and promote each other's packs as well. If you're not a good fit for a family, the group across town might be. So, just because they're not scouting with you doesn't mean they shouldn't be scouting at all. We want to make sure that we're, looking for whatever chance we have to get those families in. So if it's a night of the week thing, find a different unit close by that meets on a different night. Things like that. I wasn't a scout growing up, so I just don't see the value in it. Well, we can teach your kid valuable life lessons. We can teach them things they're not going to learn anywhere else. And we're building in time for you to spend time with your child. A lot of the other programs that we talked about before don't do that. If they're in football or basketball, you're dropping them off, and then the coach is going to take it over for the next 2 or 3 hours. This is a chance for you to build in time with your families and with your kids to do the program together, which is kind of unique to scouting and something that a lot of people are going to wish they had in a couple of years. Plus, we're teaching kids like as young as kindergarten, very popular skill, product selling, how to get involved with public speaking, how to face rejection when people say no, and how to bounce back from that. These are things that are incredibly valuable life skills, and talking about that will help the people who weren't scouts themselves understand why the kids should be in it. Another great one that we love to hear: no, my girl's a Girl Scout, and that's where girls belong. We still hear this one all the time, and we don't want to hear it anymore, but it's still out there. Just remind them, Cub Scouts is open to both girls and boys. Many girls can do both programs. Sometimes Girl Scouts just offers a different program, and some girls are looking for that, and some girls are looking for what Cub Scouts has to offer. There's nothing wrong with that. And as I've heard Jim say before, girls have been earning or going to Cub Scouts since the 1930s. They just haven't been able to earn the badges yet. We want these girls to be involved in the program because we feel like the Cub Scouting program and even the Scouts VSA program has a lot to offer them. And we also feel like Scouts has a lot to gain from having them here. So, without being rude, if you ever encounter this objection, just remind them that it's an option, that there's a lot to be gained from the program. There is nothing wrong with Girl Scouts. It's also a fine program. But sometimes the programs are just different, and we want to make sure that the girls have the opportunity to benefit from what we have to offer. No thanks, I'm not interested. Sometimes you're going to get this one, and that's okay. You're not going to close every sale, but the best way you can deal with one of these is to just shake their hand, say thank you for your time. If you have any further questions, here's my card. I'm always open, feel free to reach out again. Sometimes if they're saying, no, I'm not interested, it's just saying, no, not right now, or it's just not a good time, or sometimes it's just straight up no. But you never want to burn the bridge or write them off completely. Always leave that door open so that in 6 months or 3 years, they can come back and say, I remember talking to that Cub Scout guy once, maybe I should go back and check that out again. And we want them to always know that it's a chance for them to come in and join the program at any time. And then the last one here that we're going to talk about is kind of the elephant in the room, I suppose. I hear about scouting not being safe. You know, yes, we just came out of a $3 billion lawsuit. There were a lot of things in the news that, you know, painted scouting in a negative light. That's the reality we're living in, that those things are out there. Just remind them, you know, here's the guide to safe scouting. Feel free to take a look at it. You know, we require all of our adults that are around the kids to take youth protection training. We do a vigorous background checks on everybody who's going to be around them. We are taking all kinds of steps to ensure the safety of the kids. And again, if this is a parent-to-parent opportunity, as a fellow parent, you know, I put my kid in this program and I feel like this is the best place for them to be. And I hope that you can say that, you know, me putting them there is a testament to how much I trust the program and trust the people around it, and you should too. Sometimes that can be an uncomfortable conversation to have, but, you know, just facing it and having those conversations can make, you know, can really assuage a lot of uneasy feelings that people will have sometimes. And it helps a lot. You can really overcome that by just, you know, showing them what we've done to improve the safety of the kids, and that this is a good place for them to be. So let's talk a little bit about the actual process of getting kids onto the roster. The application process, there are paper and electronic applications. We're going to look at both of them real quick. A quick video for you. Oh, come on, video. Here we go. Great. Thank you to the Greater New York Councils for providing us with that video. Oh, no, I don't need to see it again. And thank you again to the Greater New York Councils. So, when you're doing a paper application, especially, look it over, review it, then review it again. then have somebody else review it to make sure that you didn't miss anything. Because having to go back and correct something that was missed is one of the biggest, is one of the biggest time sucks that you can get into, because it's just a back and forth that goes on forever. The fastest way is to ensure that you have the correct information the first time around, and that you make sure you get that correct information before you let those families leave the join night. It gets everybody in faster, and getting them in faster, it means they are insured sooner so that they can actually be earning the awards and going on the adventures and all sorts of things. So take your time, review them carefully, and make sure the applications are completed correctly and clearly so that we can move forward easily with them. First impressions. So you're at your join night. You have families there in front of you. They're coming in. This is your first chance to show off your unit and talk to people. Things that make a good first impression. Have a great handshake. Make eye contact with them. Have everybody smile. Have something for the kids to do. Make it fun. Have a positive atmosphere. Like I said before, seeing the troop that was leading the kids in building s'mores and tying knots and like showing them fire safety. The parents got a chance to take a picture of their kids having fun. The kids got to look up to the older kids in their uniforms and see how great they were. And then you had a chance to take the parents off to the side, and some of the leaders had a chance to make those very good, heartfelt sales pitches to the other adults to get those kids in. They had a great recruitment. What you don't want to see are crossed arms. You're playing on your phone in the corner. You're not looking at them. You're just disinterested in it. Or heaven forbid, you just straight up tell people that you don't like scouting. For all the good things we've seen, we've all seen some bad things too. I've seen join nights where somebody gets up and says, "This is scouting and we do stuff here." And that's just, it doesn't put a great impression out there. So know what you're going to say. Make notes if you need to. Again, we talk about have the calendar ready to go. Talk about the great things you do. Show some great pictures. Have a slideshow ready to go to show to the parents of, a recap of last year or something. That sort of stuff makes a good impression, and making a bad impression can be very, very hard to overcome. Jim has also told a story before that I thought was kind of funny of a scoutmaster who came, or a cub master who came in and got in front of a room full of people and said, "Yeah, this is our pack, but I'm going to be honest, I really don't want to do this anymore. So if any of you want to just take over for me," like that's not what you want to have. So make sure you have a plan in place, you're prepared for it, and make a good impression with those families. Then, after you have your joint event, what are you going to do afterwards? If you have paper applications, review them for accuracy, make sure you get any mistakes corrected, and then get them turned in as fast as you can. Know who your council growth person is or unit service executive is, because I promise you they will be happy to meet up with you and get those applications from you to save you a trip downtown if need be, especially for you folks who are out in the far east and the far west, where popping down to Cleveland might not be so easy for you to do. Once you have the applications turned in, if you have new adult applications, remember that they cannot serve in their role until we've completed the background check, until they have completed youth protection training. So make sure that they know to do that and stick with it. Remind them, remind them, remind them. Online applications. The online applications have to be approved through the application manager. So make sure you're checking that, relatively frequently. If there are new applications on there that are sitting, you'll probably get a phone call from somebody from Lake Erie Council just saying, "Congratulations. It looks like you have a new scout sitting in your application manager. If you need any help or reminders on how to approve them, let me know, but otherwise go in there and make sure that you get that taken care of." When you have your join night, one of the things you'll want to have is a sign-in sheet, something that you can put out that collects a name, a phone number, an email address, and the name of the kid. If those people did not sign up that night, follow up with those prospective families within 48 hours of your join night. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It was so nice to see you the other day. We really liked having little Bobby out at the event. It looked like he was having a great time. We just wanted to follow up to see if you're still interested in the program or if you had any other questions that we could answer for you at this time. If you are interested, I'd be happy to get with you and bring you an application so that we can get them involved as quickly as possible and keep moving forward. And if they're not, if they start giving you the objections that we were talking about, go back to the conversation we had a minute ago, think about how you can overcome some of those objections, and at the worst case scenario, leave the door open. But make sure you're following up. If somebody showed interest but didn't sign up yet, they might just have some questions, they might have some reservations. Find out what those are and see what you can do to overcome those. Come on. There we go. Then start communicating. Send all your new members and your prospective members an email as soon as they join. Make sure that you remind them about the activities you have coming up, the calendar you have, or if you have like a digital calendar of some sort, make sure they get in on that. Send out training dates to your new adult volunteers. If they're going to be a committee member or a cub master or a den leader, make sure they're getting trained on that either online or in person, or maybe they want to get involved as a range master or a mobile rock wall instructor. Get them information on that. Send all of your new families ACE emails and all of your current families as well. Make sure they have access to that information, because if somebody was sold on the program knowing that they could get that money reimbursed, they're going to want to do that. So make sure they have access to that information. Host a parent orientation night, something without kids maybe, for the existing parents and your new parents. Have everybody come in together. This can be a backyard barbecue. This could be at a restaurant in town, wherever you want it to be, and have them kind of brought into the fold on some of the things you're looking for the adult. What the calendar looks like, the logistics of pulling off the unit. That's kind of when you get a chance to acclimate the parents to the program in a kid-free environment so that they can kind of focus on what you're talking about. Then make sure you thank your team. If you had a strong fall recruitment season and you had 3, 4, 5 people helping you out, recognize that. People love to receive recognition for their effort. Make sure they appreciate it. If you don't, they're not going to necessarily be there to help you out with it in the future. Then, like we said, make sure your new leaders are getting youth protection training done. Make sure that they're taking their position-specific training if they are taking on a position within the unit, and make sure they are active in those positions. And then keep it going. You might just have one sign-up a night, but that's not your only chance to recruit for the year. I talk to PAGs all the time who say, we recruit constantly. We're always making sure that we're staying visible. And at some point, we just get 2 new kids walking in the door almost every week. So don't ever pass up those opportunities for visibility anywhere where there might be prospective new families. Every day is a day to recruit. Anywhere where you see kids and families out in public is a chance to engage with them. Don't let it just be a one and done thing. And especially, if you had a great recruitment or if you had a terrible recruitment, you should always just keep going and get ready for the next chance to impress new families. So now let's talk about things we can do immediately. How can we get started on this right now? Or first thing tomorrow morning or right after this call ends. Like we said, update your beascout.org pin. Make sure that is up to date with the correct information, contact information, meeting nights, whatever you want to have on there. Take a look at it, make sure it's up to date. Schedule your sign-up night. The sign-up night is for your pack or your troop, the night that you want to have the families come in, and you're going to give them the speech and they're going to sign up with those applications and join the group. Decide when you want that to be. Where is it going to be? Is it going to be at your normal meeting spot? Is it going to be at a park? Is it going to be somewhere in public? Decide that and make sure you have it reserved. Do you want to have any activities there? Do you need to reserve the mobile climbing wall? Do you need to reserve the inflatable archery ranges? Go online, try to get those reserved now. Make sure you have people who can run them for you. Make sure your sign up night is going to go off as close to without a hitch as possible. Then you want to promote it. Promote through your local newspapers, your chartered organization, your current members. Go through all sorts of local events. I know a couple units who are going to be at the opening of, at their high school football games, at the gates before people go in, or they're going to be in the parades for homecoming, things like that. We can schedule the school talks. School talks, if you've never done them before, we can go into lunchrooms. We'll talk to the kids. There's a 60-second spiel that's just like, hey kids, do you want to join Cub Scouts? This is how, and this is how you're going to do it, and this is where you want to be. Your join night and your sign up night, your school talk and your sign up night should be pretty close together. If your sign up night's going to be on a Thursday, you probably want to have your school talk on a Monday or a Tuesday. If you have the school talk too much earlier than that, or really if you're distributing your promotional material too much earlier than that, you're going to get people excited and then they're going to lose it, especially with the kids in the elementary school age. Bless them, they can get excited about one thing on one Friday, and by the next Friday, they forget that it exists. So the sweet spot is kind of get in there and do a school talk on a Monday or a Tuesday, have the join night on Thursday, because then it's fresh in everybody's mind. So if you're doing a school talk on a Tuesday or Thursday, or on a Monday or Tuesday, or if you're just getting out and promoting on those days, you're going to need materials. You're going to want to ask for those materials from us using that link we talked about. You're going to want to request those at least 2 weeks in advance so we have the chance to make sure they're printed, satisfactory, and delivered to you so that you have a chance to get those distributed, so that you can push the kids to your sign-up night, so that you can have a great sign-up night and that you get a lot of kids to join the group. So again, that's kind of why we want to plan. Look at your school's schedule. When do you go back to school? Is there going to be an open house night? Is there going to be a parent-teacher conference night? Is there the day where the kids come in and run around the school just to find where all their classes are? If there is, can we be there? Can we set up a table at it? Do you have connections with your school? Do you know the principal? Do you know the superintendent? Do you know the assistant principal? Can you help us use that relationship so that we can get in there and advertise? If your parents, if your leaders, the parents in your unit don't have the time at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday to go down to the elementary school and be there while the kids are finding their classroom for the first time, let us know. That's why we can go out there, we can advertise for you, we can be that resource for you in person to make sure that we're getting that material out there for you. Participate in Scouting for Food. Scouting for Food is a wonderful initiative. Not only is it a great way for the kids to earn service hours, they can earn check off requirements for Messengers of Peace, but also what better way to promote scouting than putting a couple thousand door hangers out on every door in the community that says, hi, I am with the Scouts and we are collecting food for people in need. So you're not only doing a good thing for the community, but you're getting the good name of scouting out there as well. So participate in that. That's a win-win for everybody. And then reach out and connect with your unit service executive. If you don't know who your unit service executive is, there's going to be a slide here that will show you, that I'll hover on for a second so you can see it. But know who your service person is, know who your growth person is, connect with them, tell them what you're thinking, tell them what your timeline is, tell them what you need, ask them questions. Make that person one of your go-to contacts in your phone, text with them, ask them for help. Let us know what we can do to help you so that we can make sure you have the best recruitment possible. All of these beautiful faces you see here on the screen in front of you are the field service team from Lake Erie Council. So as we go from top down, from left to right, Mike Ivano is our Director of Field Services. Jim Vanderpool is our Chief Growth Officer for the Lake Erie Council, so he oversees the growth team for all the areas. Michelle Callie is the Unit Service Director, so she oversees unit service for the whole council. Megan Malizer is on the east side, I believe, for unit growth. Jason Setzer is in the far east for unit growth. And then Chelsea Rogers is in the west for unit growth. And then for service, you have Julia, who is both east and west for service. Jake is far east for service. And me, Tyler, I am in the far west for service. So reach out to us, reach out to your person if you haven't already. Establish a communication, and then let us know what we can do to help, and we will make sure you are going to be in a good spot moving forward. So before we get started into product, which is going to be the next thing, I'll take a few minutes and we'll see if there are any questions. If there are, go ahead and throw them in the chat now. Otherwise, we're going to move ahead into product sale here in just a moment.